Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we bring you the latest news and updates from around the world. We're starting off with a developing story that's been making headlines in recent days. The U.S. military has been conducting airstrikes on alleged drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean Sea and the Eastern Pacific Ocean, resulting in the deaths of at least 83 people. The operations have raised concerns about their legality, with some experts questioning whether they constitute extrajudicial killings. According to reports, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had given a directive to kill everyone on board one of the targeted boats, which was struck in an initial missile attack on September 2nd. The Washington Post and CNN have cited unnamed sources familiar with the operation, stating that the order was to kill everybody. However, when two survivors were seen clinging to the burning vessel, the U.S. military proceeded to strike the boat again. President Donald Trump has weighed in on the issue, saying he would look into reports of the follow-up strike and stating that he wouldn't have wanted a second strike on the vessel. Trump also defended Hegseth, saying he did not order the death of the two men. The incident has sparked bipartisan calls for investigation, with the top Republican and Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee issuing a statement saying they are taking action to gather a full accounting of the operation in question. The UN Human Rights Chief has also urged Washington to investigate the strike's legality. As this story continues to unfold, we'll be keeping a close eye on developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. We'll also be examining the implications of these operations and what they might mean for international relations and human rights. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're continuing our coverage of significant events from around the world. Today, we're focusing on the Caribbean island of St. Lucia, where voters have gone to the polls to elect a new legislature and choose their prime minister. This election is particularly noteworthy due to its emphasis on economic management, violent crime, and the controversial issue of passport sales through citizenship by investment programs. The incumbent Labour Party, led by Prime Minister Philip Pierre, seeks to maintain its strong majority in both legislative chambers against a challenge from the Conservative United Workers' Party, headed by former Prime Minister Alain Chastanet. A key point of contention between the two parties is how to manage the island's economy and security. Chastanet argues that under Pierre's leadership, security has deteriorated, partly because U.S. support for local police has been limited due to past human rights abuses. This limitation is a result of the U.S. Leahy Law, which restricts assistance to foreign military units that have committed gross human rights violations. Another significant issue in this election is the Citizenship by Investment program, which is an important source of tax income for St. Lucia and other small island nations in the Eastern Caribbean. However, these programs have strained relations with the U.S., which warns that they can be exploited by individuals from countries like China and Iran for nefarious purposes. Chastanet has called for more transparent auditing of this program, reflecting concerns about accountability and international security. The context of this election is also influenced by regional dynamics, including a recent vote in neighboring St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where the opposition won almost every seat up for grabs, ending Ralph Gonsalves's 24-year tenure as prime minister. Additionally, there's an escalating U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean aimed at curbing drug trafficking around Venezuela, with countries like the Dominican Republic and Trinidad and Tobago allowing U.S. vessels to dock in their territory. As we watch these developments unfold, it's clear that the outcome of St. Lucia's election will have implications not only for the island's internal governance, but also for its relations with neighboring countries and global powers. The balance between economic stability, security, and transparency in programs like Citizenship by Investment will be crucial in determining the path forward for this Caribbean nation. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. I'm Barbara Waters. As we conclude today's program, we're taking a closer look at the developments unfolding in Japan, where uncertainty looms over plans to reduce the number of seats in the country's House of Representatives. This proposal is a key element of the coalition agreement between the ruling Liberal Democratic Party and its new partner, the Japan Innovation Party, also known as Nippon Ishin no Kai. The Japan Innovation Party has been adamant about seeing this reduction through, threatening to exit the coalition if a bill guaranteeing a 10% decrease in lower house seats is not passed during the current extraordinary parliamentary session. This session is set to run through December, placing time-sensitive pressure on lawmakers to come to an agreement. In recent developments, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi and Japan Innovation Party leader Hirofumi Yoshimura have reached an accord to submit a bill aimed at reducing the number of lower house seats by 10%. This move aligns with the core demands of the JIP for entering into a coalition government with the Liberal Democratic Party. The plan, as outlined, would reduce seats in both single-seat constituencies and proportional representation seats, rather than focusing solely on the proportional representation system. This decision reflects the ongoing negotiations and compromises that are characteristic of coalition politics. The reduction in parliamentary seats is seen by some as a move towards greater efficiency and potentially lowering costs, while others may view it as a strategic political maneuver with implications for future elections and governance. As these events unfold, it's crucial to consider the broader context of Japanese politics and the potential impact on the country's governance and electoral system. The ability of the ruling coalition to navigate these changes will be closely watched, both domestically and internationally, as it may set precedents for future political reforms. That's all for today's Barber's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.